Tuesday, August 20th, 2024, 7 p.m., City of Somerton Regular Council Meeting. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. Roll call.
Mayor Gerardo Naya,
Present.
Vice Mayor Luis Galindo,
Present.
Member Jesus Roldan,
Present.
Councilmember Miguel Villalpando,
Present.
Councilmember Juan Castillo,
Present.
Councilmember Marta Gonzalez,
Present.
Councilmember Lorena Delgadillo.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We're gonna move on and call to the public. Anybody from the public wishing to address council?
Hector Perez.
To-
Hector, if you could please approach the podium, state your name and address.
Yes, my name is Hector Perez, and I live at 490 East 12th Place here in Somerton. And I just wanted to address why the city of Somerton doesn't allow the residents to have sunshade on their yard or the front yard. That's what I'm here for, guys. I've been doing this, trying to get sunshade on my home for the last 6-7 years, and the city, the board, whoever makes up that decision doesn't want us for some reason. I mean, I have pictures of my neighborhood with all the, I don't know who the person that goes around to check around. There's trucks parked on the driveway, on the sidewalk. There are sunshades, illegal sunshades, what you guys call illegal sunshades, because the city didn't approve them. I came here to the city to ask if I can put a sunshade, and they say flat out no. I want to know why and what steps do I take to put a sunshade on my property. I moved here from Napa, California 7 years ago, but now the city is going bad. From what I see, it's not the same Somerton. It's getting dirtier and more trouble. I'm sorry, but that's what I see in the last 7 years. And that's what I wanted to say. Why can't I put sunshade on my property? What do I need to do? They told me if something gets approved, I will have to pay $350 to get another 3 feet, because it has to be 7 feet away from the fence. They told me, in case of a fire, where the firemen going to go on the side and walk on those 3 feet. I mean, I have a big gate. They can open and walk right in if there's a fire. There's no need to walk on the fire line or lane, whatever you want to call that. I mean, do it make sense? Anybody's, no? That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, unfortunately here, cut to the public, we can't answer questions, but you can contact our community development director, and I can tell you that we're working on a code update, and that's being addressed. Right now, it was presented 2 council meetings ago, and Mr. Albor, he can show you what the plans are. Yeah, you're right, they're not allowed here, and if there's some, then they need to be taken.
Well, whoever goes around checking the neighborhood, they're not doing a good job, because around Bingham, where I live is a 7-year-old home. And there's a lot of stuff that's tall grass, weeds on the sidewalk, that's city property. Street sweeper doesn't come maybe every 3 months. You know, maybe you guys are not aware because you're in the office, but I see what's going on in the city of Somerton. I've been trying to tell you guys, but I talked to Saul, Raul, the city manager, everybody. And it's just one ear out the other ear. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for the comments. Man, make sure to get Saul's information. Anybody from the public? Anybody else? There's no one. We're gonna move on to consent agenda. It's approval of purchase of 3 Trikke Mobility Vehicles in the amount of $41,202.60. Does any member of council want to remove this item from consent agenda? Is there a motion?
So, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Castillo,
Second, Mayor.
second by Vice Mayor Galindo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we have a presentation, introduction and vision presentation by Omar Duron, Superintendent of Somerton School District.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jasmine Samadio, Economic Development. It's my pleasure to introduce Omar Duron, Superintendent of Somerton School District. As we discussed the future of our community, it's crucial to recognize the vital role that education plays in our economic development. By working closely with educational leaders like Superintendent Mr. Duron, we can ensure that our strategies for growth are aligned with the needs of our students, families, and our local workforce. This collaboration is key to fostering a thriving, sustainable community to generations to come. Please join me in welcoming Superintendent Duron, who will give you a quick presentation.
Thank you so much. Omar Duron, address 421 East 12th Place, Somerton, Arizona. My name is Omar Duron. I'm the superintendent for the Somerton School District. I know I have a presentation and I don't have a clicker, but I'll get to it. Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm honored to be here. I've been looking forward to this presentation before Mayor Anaya and council members and everyone who's in attendance. Thank you for being here. Like mentioned before, I think it's really important to ensure that we have a strong partnership and bond between the city of Somerton and our district. And so I'm here to introduce myself as the new superintendent and provide to you a plan for our school's vision and the way we can collaborate to ensure that we have that great partnership that I'm looking forward to, that we are looking forward to. A little bit information about myself. That funny guy up there is me. With my role, I bring to you 23 years of education experience. I've really been able to done it all, right? So I've been an instructional aide working with teachers to now a school district superintendent and everything in between. I have experience in the classroom as an elementary school teacher for 7 years. I also was a mentor teacher, a master teacher, and then I was able to be an instructional coach for 2 or 3 schools within the Gaston School District. Then I moved forward to becoming the professional development coordinator for the Gaston School District as well, where I was able to support all teachers, all grade levels and different content areas within the Gaston School District. A lot of my experience comes from the Gaston School District. As you know, a leader of a campus, I was able to lead Southwest Junior High School as a principal for 3 years. And then I was able to support the Gaston superintendent as the associate superintendent before coming to Somerton. So that is, in a nutshell, my experience as an educator. And I also bring the vantage point of not only an educator, but also a member of the ELL population, or English language learners. As a former English language learner, I'm proud to be here. Sometimes I feel like I'm still a little bit of English language learner, and that's okay. You know, I code switch a lot, and I think it's part of our culture. I was also a migrant student, and so I know the dynamic of migrant families, as well as, you know, I'm part of this community, so I understand the community-based needs. Just to kind of reiterate my, you know, love and passion to support our demographics, my doctoral program is really based on the educational journey of all of our ELL learners within our community of Somerton and also San Luis, Arizona. So our district, the work that our district does really revolves around 3 major goals. These 3 goals were set by our board, and these really encompass everything that our schools are working towards, right? So the very first goal, it really targets making sure that we are hitting that student achievement. All students are capable of growth, and that's what we're going to be measuring. The second goal really talks about creating a climate and an environment that is conducive for all students to learn, and a positive one to ensure that all stakeholders are welcome within our schools. And then the very last one, to ensure that we recruit and retain all really good qualified teachers. So throughout my presentation, I hope to showcase the things that we're doing to ensure that we're meeting those goals. But I would also like to invite you to start thinking about, as a city, as a council, how is it that you would be able to also support us to ensure that we meet those goals? Something that I brought in as part of my first 90-day plan as a superintendent was this framework that really have close to my heart and also to my profession, right? So the idea of connecting, collaborating, and communicating. This is a huge, simple framework, but it's been huge in the development of relationships throughout my career. And so I've been able to share this framework with our leadership teams as well as with the entire district. And now I bring it to you because I think as we forge forward, it's important to keep these 3 C's in mind to ensure that we build a very strong partnership between, again, Somerton City and our district. So this is a little jumbled up, right? Because that's the nature of technology. But this is basically, in a nutshell, the report card of our schools. It's hard to read there, so I knew this was going to happen, so I took a picture of that slide. Just to let you know, this is a 3-year span of 3 test years. So you will see a gap between 2019, obviously 2022, COVID happened, so that was not a test year. But the trajectory of the schools is from 2019 to 2023. We currently do have the unofficial scores for our schools, but we aren't able to share them just yet. But currently, we do have Brave T. Soto was not rated that particular year because they were transitioning into being a new school. So they didn't necessarily release a score for that particular school. The same with Sun Valley, right? But the other schools, such as Desert Sonora, ended the school year 2023 as an A school. Encanto Learning Center as a B school, Orange Grove as an A school, Somerton Middle School as a C school, and Tierra del Sol as a B. And that gave us the average score as a district as a B. So this is really important. I hope that you were able to just picture the other grades so that you can see there were some inconsistencies from year to year that when I met with the school's leadership teams, they were really able to analyze that there's some structures that need to be in place to ensure that there is a positive trajectory as we move forward. And because it's inevitable, right? It's part of human nature to compare ourselves to others. And I think because this is public, knowledge, it's important that I bring it to you. I brought it to all of our leadership teams, as well as everyone within the district knows this information. So if you look at this particular slide, it really showcases where we at as a county, as a district, right? So we are number 3 ranking at the county level. And then at the state level, out of 417 districts, we are number 207. So the way I presented it to our leadership teams is making sure that we reframe this information in a positive note, right? Because we're hard on ourselves. We always want to do our best, and we will. But I think we need to make sure that we acknowledge the positive side of the data, right? So we're not the last one. We're looking at progress, and we're looking to see how we're going to become number 1 in a county. This is the ranking of all of our schools in comparison to all the schools within our county. And so the positive, right? We are within the 25 top elementary schools. This is for elementary. So this is something positive to celebrate. And I was even talking today with Ms. Middleton. She is the principal for Orange Grove. And I tell her, you need to showcase your A. We need to talk about it a lot more. We need to make sure that we're proud of our letter grade because it is not the shiny letter that we see in the newspaper only. It's everything and all the work that's behind it that we need to celebrate. So we're working on that, and I think that's a positive move forward for our district. As you can see now, you see the rankings for middle school. We are ranking number 9 if we compare ourselves to other middle schools within our county. So the state accountability formula, right? It could seemingly be simple in front of you, but there's a lot to consider when providing a school a letter grade. If you go to the next one, I'll explain a little more. It's not as simple as we see it, right? So one of the things that I went in, earlier this summer, we met, Ms. Kim is here with me. We met with all of our leadership teams to really solidify where we stand in regards to our letter grades. Some of our principals were saying, well, I didn't realize some components, or I'm working really hard and hoping, that we meet these grades, but we have to really purposefully look at the different components that will give you that grade. There's a lot of information here, but I just want to point out that, our students are taking the assessment at the end of the school year. That's the data that we utilize, that the state utilizes to get this score. So students are seen in different components, right? So the state will give a school 30 points if we move students' proficiency in ELA, in English language arts, and math. So what does that mean? So students, when they take their test, they are given a proficiency level, right? So if they didn't do very well, they get a minimally proficient, right? If they did más o menos, give or take, they do a partially proficient. If they met their goals as proficient, and if they did better than that, is highly proficient. So the state recognizes that in math and English language art. So what they do is they'll give us points if we are moving students from one proficiency level to the next, all right? The growth, if you look at the graph, we get more points out of growth. Why? Because students have the potential to grow. Every student has the potential to grow. So now taking you back again to those proficiency levels, right? So this particular component really focuses on students growing within a proficiency level, right? So let's say that I'm a student that last year I was a minimally proficient student, but this year I still am a minimally proficient student, but I moved closer to partially proficient. The state recognizes that and provides us with points towards that letter grade. This formula also considers our English language learners, and they use the Arizona English Language Learners Assessment to provide us with those points, right? Again, it's kind of the same framework with our English language learners. We look at their proficiency. If we move students to becoming English proficient, we get 5 points. But we also recognize the growth that can happen between the proficiency levels. So the state will also give us additional 5 points for that. The other component, the acceleration readiness, is a little tricky. It's more like, let's see how well we're doing in different areas, right? In middle school, we would get about 3 points, I believe, for our 8th grade math. If we lower the amount of minimally proficient students in 8th grade and we increase the highly proficient in our 8th grade. Why? Because the state recognizes that our students are coming low in math into high school. So what they want to do is ensure that we're doing something about it in the middle school, and that's the reason why as to why we're getting these points. The same kind of framework works for our grade 3 ELA. So students in 3rd grade also need to increase their highly proficient in English language art and decrease the amount of minimally proficient in English language arts, all right, to ensure that we are moving up those students. Points are also granted if we improve on our chronic absenteeism, right? So it's something that we have to be on top of our parents to ensure that our kids are there on time, because even lateness can affect our attendance. And so chronic absenteeism, to put it in very simple terms, is making sure that we improve from last year's percentage of chronic absenteeism. So we have to work really hard this year. And then we get points in inclusion and special education, making sure that students who are able to and are part of special education are able to be part of a mainstream class. The state is able to track that as well to give us additional points. And then more points, right, are given if they see improvement in some of the subgroups. You know, a subgroup would be the migrant students, our Hispanic students, even homeless students also get points if we see increments in that. So there's all sorts of subgroups that are considered for those points. And last but not least, we get up to 5 points, possible bonus points to ensure that we, get our letter grade. And those are in the areas of science proficiency and also enrollment in special education. So it's a lot, right? Sometimes we see in the newspaper, that school got an A, great. Oh, whoa, that school got a B, what happened? Oh boy, that's a C. Oh boy, what's happening there? Know that there's a lot of components that we need to take care of to ensure that we move forward up to that letter grade that we all want, all right? So celebrations, right? A couple of celebrations before we move forward is we do have, based on 2023, we have 4 schools who are meeting the goal of making sure that we have schools at B or A's. So that's great. Other celebrations is that we have a couple of schools who are nationally recognized for their Capturing Kids' Heart, which is a system of discipline and respect and citizenship that Ms. Kimsey was able to bring a few years back. There's many celebrations within the structures that we're implementing this year. One thing that we are coming in strong and changing is the support that we're providing our teachers. We recreated the structure for professional development and also the role of the instructional strategist, which is the support at the school level. That has shifted. As a matter of fact, today they just finished a 2-day, pretty intense training on how to really develop intentional and productive professional development for their teachers. So that was something that we just completed today. So those are celebrations to really acknowledge. But this is a group effort, right? So, one school, it really makes the difference for the entire district. It makes the difference for the other schools as well. It's a group effort. And if we bring something new, if we bring an innovation, everyone has to be part of it for it to work. So I wanted to just make sure that I was able to capture that for you guys. Oh boy. One of the things that I told, are we good? Are we good? One of the things that I told our leadership team is we know what to do to get that A. I know, I know how to look at the formula and understand that X amount of students will get us there. But sometimes the X amount of students is a handful of students. What are we doing with 400 other students? So in our mission, in a way to move forward is making sure that we don't sacrifice the educational journey of our students for a letter grade. We will get there, and I know that we are, but it's understanding the student as a whole, not only what they will give us to ensure that we have a shiny A, which we want, but I want to make sure that those students are equally as important as everyone else who might not have a leading role within that letter grade. I've been asked, how do you do it? How, what is the secret? There is actually no secret, right? It really boils down to the consistency. You streamline procedures, protocols, and you are consistent. You work in and day out on it, and you will see the product of your work by doing so. We always celebrate progress, not perfection. I think that's something that we need to make sure that we always celebrate our leadership teams and our teachers. And then look at fundamentals, right? Look at what it matters, not what's coming up as like, oh, like that's cool. No, cool is making sure that we are consistent and getting those results at the end. And then doing that over and over again. So that takes us to today, right? So making sure that we have a strong partnership between the city of Somerton and the district of Somerton. I think this is not something new. I'm not coming in to establish that. I think that has been established. What I'm bringing to you is reinforcing how it is that you are able to support us to ensure that we meet our goals. I think it's in the best interest of obviously our district to ensure that all of our kids are successful, but it's also the interest of the community to ensure that our kids succeed. We want them to shine. They represent us not only locally, but they can represent us everywhere else. Also, that also brings value to our community. And I know that the community is growing. And how amazing is it that people are looking for Somerton, they search for our schools and there are A's, B's, So that is the reason why I think it's a shared interest to make sure that our students are succeeding. So our mission is very simple, right? Even though our principals are working towards making sure that they have percentages of students who are going to move up to make sure that they are meeting their proficiency goals, that's great. I will worry about that. But one thing I want you to really focus on is that we are focusing on all students, not just a few, all students. So our mission is very basic: to provide equitable access to a well-rounded educational journey to all students. Key is well-rounded and all. Part of the work that I'm doing through my doctorate is, analyzing the effects of, some of the laws that exist within Arizona in regards to English language learners and how sometimes acute the support is for that particular demographics, but really sometimes forgetting about the content, right? So sometimes it's like, let's drill them for language, but then we're not learning science, we're not learning social studies, or we're not learning it at the level that they should be learning it at. So for me, it's really important to really consider the well-rounded to ensure that students are getting that equitable opportunity to learn their content, but also raise their language levels. Going back to our board goals, to increase academic achievement for all students. So what are we doing there? I just mentioned to you guys that one strong thing that we're coming in to do this particular year is to support our teachers. We've structured professional development. We've structured follow-up routines for teachers to have support in the classroom, not only by the principal, but also by the instructional strategist. We're working with our instructional service director to ensure that she is the first line of support for our schools in regards to curriculum, programming, and protocols. For our board goal number 2, we are wanting to build a positive culture for our students. one of the things that I'm jumping back into is making sure that we have a positive and very active presence in our social media. We're currently working towards improving our website so it's more accessible to anyone who is searching for information. I'm even jumping into creating some videos to entice the community to really want and learn more about our community. I will be working on a new meeting structure that I'm calling it Cafecitos and Conversaciones with the Superintendent, or Conversations and Coffee with the Superintendent. This will be a meeting that I'll be hosting once a month. We probably will be doing them during the day, but then depending on how the attendance works, we'll probably also host them in the afternoon to make sure that other parents are able to attend. This is, again, a very informal kind of meeting for the community and myself and the team to be able to really listen to their concerns, try to respond to their questions, and work collaboratively to get to those solutions. And then our last board goal, one of the great things that we're doing this year is we're acknowledging that we still have ways to go to get every teacher be highly or appropriately certified, but we're working really hard. Last week, we just met with ASU. They have an amazing program that allows for candidates who are approved in that program to be able to get certified within 3 semesters as fully accredited teacher of record. So that's great. So what we did is we hosted a meeting between ASU and all of our full-time paraprofessionals. We had a room full of people, 60 people were there, 60 IAs were there. ASU was able to provide all the details of this program, and about 30 of them shared interest in either becoming part of the program or interest in learning a lot more about the program. And this is just our stepping stone. We're reaching out to Grand Canyon University, U of A, and AU to see what are programs out there that they can support our district to ensure that we continue to build our own. So what are we asking of you, right? So there's a lot of things that I think we can really highlight as a partnership. So student recognition is huge. I do see a lot of student recognition within the community already, and I highly appreciate that. But we're developing a program of monthly recognizing students for their successes. We'll be developing it kind of like an ambassador of excellence per se, and really acknowledging the great effort of all students within each school. So we'll be giving you more information about that as we get closer to the date. Representation of the city would be amazing, just by having officials be there and really recognizing the efforts of our students. Trust me, it's something that students will not forget. We're also working towards making sure that we're constantly recognizing our staff and faculty. So let's build those ideas as to how is it that we are able to do that. Teacher Appreciation Week is, just around the corner, even though it's next semester, but time flies. How can we partner up to ensure that we're able to provide them with great things and feel good about our community? Just participation, right? Participation from on behalf of the district to community-driven events. And we ask, I guess, to be reciprocated, right? Come and participate in some of our events and see the great things that are happening within our district. I know in conversations with Mayor Anaya, he mentioned once that there used to be an opportunity for like student council to come and possibly even host or sit in these amazing chairs and, informally or unofficially run a meeting. And I think those opportunities of leadership are, trust me, those are things that students will never forget. So opening up those kinds of ideas to really wake up those leadership skills in our students would be amazing. Resources, you have resources, we have resources we can share, we have parks. I've been, looking at, he's not here anymore, but the Parks and Rec director, we met and we are coming up with ideas as to how we can better utilize what the city can provide and vice versa. Collaborative opportunities to innovate. I know based on a meeting I had with Mr. Louis Galaviz, our city is growing, right? So there's development happening, and that's really exciting for our district and for our community. And so how can we come up with ideas to make sure that we develop more apropos, schools? Support community growth. One thing that is a bit of a mind shift is we are also growing in San Luis, Arizona, right? So it's something that we need to start thinking about. How is it that we also foster the growth of our district in San Luis, Arizona, because those are also our students, right? The idea here is to ensure that we maintain the essence of Somerton, even in our existence in San Luis, Arizona. And that is a pledge that I'm fully invested in, because I am part of the community of Somerton, and I want our community to shine within the parameters of the city. But how amazing is it that it's also shining in San Luis, Arizona, our district? And then just strong communication, going back to the 3 Cs, making sure that we're connected, we're collaborating, and obviously open communication. So this is, just to close off my presentation, this is our logo for the year. Together with rigor, we thrive. With rigor is a very particular word that anyone can interpret it differently. I asked the board to interpret rigor in coming up with ideas, collaborating with us to ensure that we're able to support our schools to the best of all of our abilities. Thank you guys so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. I'm not sure if part of the protocol is I can answer any questions.
Any questions or comments?
Just a quick comment. Thank you for coming. It's great that you came in and showed us a little bit about how scores work. I had no idea. But I'm as part of my full-time job, I'd like if you can invite the office when you do those monthly recognitions.
Perfect, for sure. Thank you so much for offering that. That's huge. Thank you.
I'll make a comment, Mayor.
As a councilman. Okay?
As a councilman.
Not as
I know, the lines are blurry
I
sometimes.
was just gonna say, we're working on getting those banners up at the gym.
Okay.
Those city championship banners.
Oh, yes.
So-
Yes,
Hey,
we
that's
are.
that's a request as a parent, and not as a.
Absolutely. We're working on
Not
it.
as a mayor.
Thank you. I appreciate
That was my community member hat.
And as a parent, it's good to see those banners up, because my daughter's names are on those banners, and it's, now she's 28 years old and is coming back to serve our community. She's able to see her name when she was in 8th grade there at the middle school. So it's really good for our youth to see that as they grow up and become part of our community. So thank you for your
Absolutely.
time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Very good information.
Thank you so much. You guys have a good evening.
You guys took
Thank
it
you.
easy. You should have asked questions. I'm just kidding.
Okay, we have one public hearing. Is there a motion to open public hearing? So motion by Councilwoman Delgadillo,
Second.
second by Councilman Castillo, in favor.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Public hearings related to the preliminary plat case PLN 24-00098 and final plat case PLN 24-0099.
Preliminary plat case PLN 24-0098 and final plat case PLN 24-00099. Mayor and Council, this is the final and preliminary plat request for the approval of Comite de Bienestar subdivision. This is the 3.6 acre parcel located on the northwest corner of Cesar Chavez Avenue and Madison Street. It's a 3.6 acre parcel proposed being subdivided into 29 townhomes. This project has been brought to you multiple times in various configurations over the last 2.5 years. Originally, the project was proposed as a 16-lot subdivision back in around 2020, 2021. That project did not materialize, and since then, Comite de Bienestar has picked up the property. And once the new owner, Comite, picked it up, the proposal did change from a 16-lot single-family subdivision into a 29-lot townhome. And that's been the proposal ever since the new owner picked it up. Upon switching the idea, the new owner did apply for a rezoning in a, just a rezoning, which was approved by council earlier this year. So the project has been moving steadily. Even though it's been brought to you multiple times, we hope that this is it right here, the final approval for Comite de Bienestar subdivision. I'd like to show you the location and the final plat just to refresh council's memory. So this is the location, the 3.6 acre parcel that we're talking about. It would be the first residential development west of Cesar Chavez Avenue, north of Main Street. We do anticipate further growth in this area, and this represents the first of hopefully many housing projects that will come. The layout is fairly simple, very standard. If you could show the next page down, Andrea, I believe is one more. There we go. Zoom out of that. So what we're looking at is a 29 lot subdivision with one tract for stormwater retention. We are getting additional right-of-way on Cesar Chavez Avenue and additional right-of-way on Madison Street. Aside from developing the subdivision, the developer will also install the multi-use pathways along both. Well, actually, the one on Cesar Chavez is already completed, but there will be additional landscaping provided and also a full pathway on Madison Street as part of these improvements. This is the same exhibit that council did see at the rezoning stage. Since between then and where we are now, there have been no changes to the proposal. Staff is currently well into the review of the improvement plans, and we expect to be issuing the final comments on the improvement plans to the developer this week. They're not very substantial. During the public input and request for comments period, staff received no objections to the proposal. And therefore, when we get to the action item portion of this, staff's recommendation for this preliminary and final plat will be for approval with conditions. And we can go over the conditions of approval if council desires.
Let's go ahead.
That would be Exhibit A, Andrea. Mayor and Council, the proposed conditions of approval for both preliminary plat case PLN 24-0098 and final plat case PLN 24-0099 are as follows. Number one is a standard condition. The conditions listed below are in addition to city codes, rules, fees, and regulations that are applicable to this action. Number two is the developer / owner shall dedicate the required rights of way along Cesar Chavez Avenue and County 15th Street to accommodate the development of the transportation improvements related to Comite de Bienestar townhouse subdivision. Number three is the owner / developer shall improve the adjacent section of multi-use pathway along Cesar Chavez Avenue and Madison Street adjacent to Comite de Bienestar subdivision per the standards and requirements of the Somerton Pathway Master Plan. Number four is the owner / developer shall convert the property from irrigation water to domestic water supply prior to the recordation of the plat. Number five is the owner / developer shall petition to form a municipal improvement district for the maintenance of the stormwater retention basin prior to the recordation of the plat. Number six is the owner / developer shall petition to form a municipal improvement district for the maintenance of the street lighting prior to the recordation of the plat. Number seven is the owner / developer shall obtain approval of the subdivision improvement plans from the Somerton Public Works and Community Development Departments before commencing construction of the subdivision improvements. Very straightforward conditions. They mostly focus on the pathways and on the municipal improvement district and the conversion for the irrigation. Everything else is considered standard by staff. Are there any questions on the conditions of approval or on the plat itself from council?
Any questions from the public for the public hearing? There's none. Any questions from council?
The engineer is also present, mayor and council, if you have any questions for him.
Mayor, if I may, I have a couple of questions for Saul.
Councilman Villalpando, go ahead.
Saul, on the last meeting, if memory serves me right, I believe there was some lots or a lot that was under the 5,000 square feet. Are all lots being requested over the 5,000 or over?
Councilman Villalpando, your memory does serve you right. Although it wasn't 5,000, it was 3,000, which is the minimum for the R3 district. Back then, what was presented to council was a proposal for 31 lots, with some of them dipping below the 3,000 minimum. Since then, the number of lots was final at 29, with all of them exceeding the minimum threshold.
Okay. Thank you. One more question. As far as improvements on the lift station, was that ever addressed, or was an engineer asked to look at whether that lift station that they're going to connect to has the capacity to handle it, or is there improvements that are needed?
Councilmember Villalpando, the project engineer did submit an analysis on the impact to the lift station that the project would provide. And our engineer, our contract engineer, did check it. Everything checks out. No substantial improvements are needed.
By substantial or improvements at all?
Improvements at all, Councilmember.
Okay. And we do have a letter, him stating that, correct?
We have a letter from we have an
From our engineer.
yes, we do. Not a letter, but we
Okay.
have an email communication chain.
Okay, because again, just keep that in file, because if things do change, I want to be able to address it with the engineering company if it changes. Not that I'm saying that it's going to, but we've heard similar stories in the past, and I don't want to repeat those again. So thank you, Saul.
You're welcome, Councilmember.
Any other questions or comments? There are motion to close public hearing.
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Vice Mayor Galindo, second by Councilwoman Delgadillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're gonna move on to new business. Discussion of possible action to approve preliminary plat case PLN 24-00098 and final plat case PLN 24-00099.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, this is the action item to approve the preliminary plat case and final plat case for the Comite de Bienestar Townhome subdivision that was just discussed at the public hearing. If there are no further questions from Mayor and Council, staff's recommendation for both zoning cases is to approve preliminary plat case PLN 24-0098 and to approve final plat case PLN 24-0099, both with the conditions listed in Exhibit A. However, because they are separate cases, staff is asking for two separate motions on the action item.
Any questions or comments? Is there a motion to approve preliminary plat case PLN 24-00098 with the conditions listed in Exhibit A?
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Castillo,
Second, Mayor.
second by Vice Mayor Galindo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
There a motion to approve final plat case PLN 24-00099 with conditions as listed in Exhibit A.
So moved, Mayor.
So motion by Councilman Roldan,
Second.
second by Councilman Castillo. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you again, Mayor and Council.
We're gonna go summary current events.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. First, we have Chief of Police.
Mayor, council members, good evening. I have a couple things. We're still hiring. We started with a group about 19 over last week, and we ended up with 3. We're still conducting backgrounds, so you'll be hearing from us soon on that one. We try our best to be at all the schools at the traffic, morning traffic and the afternoon traffic. There is 5 schools, so it is a struggle, but we're trying to do our best, Ms. A and Mr. Duron, to be out there as much as we can. We do happen to have accidents here and there during those hours, so it makes it a little bit difficult. But we ask the drivers to continue to use caution and to drive at the speed limit, so we don't get called out and leave other duties that we're still working on. CIPs, we're still in progress. We're working on some of the compliance for the public safety building. We're working on some turf to get some turf, artificial turf up at the building as well, and the animal control kennels. We're still in progress of hiring an animal control officer. And we continue to do some internal training at the police station for all our staff. Thank you.
Here we have our Human Resource Manager, Terry.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Terry Trujillo, Human Resources Manager. We just have a couple of items of summary events. We have a wellness event that Human Resources will be hosting on August 28th for all of City of Somerton employees. We have 3 available times, 9, 10, and 5 p.m. for those who can't attend during the day. We also had our STAR program lunch with leadership. We recognized 3 employees, 1 from finance, economic development, and human resources. These 3 employees will also be eligible for the end of the year Employee Recognition Award. We also opened up the recycle plant operator. Position was open on August 9th. We have it open for 2 weeks, and as of today, we have 125 applications. Thank you.
Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Charles Gutierrez, Public Works Director. In the Water Division, we had a power outage at the Mesa Water Plant. The battery backup overheated and stopped the pump VFD controller. It has been resolved. It happened Sunday night about 1 o'clock in the morning. You'll notice some work starting at the new water tank number 3, Abby's Paint. We'll start prepping this week, late this week and into next week for the logo. And the wastewater, we had a couple incidences. The generator over here on Garvin Lift Station is completely out. We are getting quotes for that at this time right now. And the actual wastewater plant has developed a sinkhole at the wastewater plant. We're having contractors come out to help us get some quotes at working on this as an emergency. It's real close to 62 16-inch force mains. So we are on the ball on this and trying to get this taken care of. Thank you.
Parks and Rec.
Evening, Mayor and Council. James Jones, Parks and Rec Director. We renewed the Yuma Food Bank Agreement for the 2024-2025 fiscal year with for the Senior Center to make sure they continue to receive services. The Senior Center birthday celebration will be tomorrow from 10 to 12. It's also National Senior Day, so we're going to kind of throw that in there. The park manager, the special events coordinator, the Parks and Recreation Commission chairman, and myself will be attending the Arizona Parks and Recreation Conference next week. And the Parks Recreation Commission chair and myself have been approved to serve on the Yuma County Parks and Recreation Commission for the county. So
We have Fire Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Just wanted to remind the community that our Explore program is starting up again. We had our first meeting last week. We had 4 teenagers show up, and it's at the public safety facility on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. And then also, I just wanted to thank the Cocopa Indian tribe for the fire engine. We put it in service last Friday, so it's serving our community and the community for Cocopa. So just want to say a big thank you.
And last, we have Economic Development.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jasmine Samudio, Economic Development Director. Just one thing tonight, Leagues of the City will be next Thursday. Staff feels they are prepared for the league. We are going to be working with Super 43. We're going to be using their product out there to also promote local businesses here in town. I hope to see you there and we'll have fun. Thank you. Good night.
That's all we have, Mayor.
Councilman Roldan.
Sorry, Mayor, I have nothing, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilman Villalpando.
I don't have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilwoman Gonzalez. Councilman Castillo.
Mayor, I just wanna inform that last week we met with the health committee meeting. We're trying to get ahead and trying to gather as much information as possible for next year. So I think this is the earliest I think that we've actually met. The consistency of the group, I mean, I think we've had the same members now that have been present in the meetings and everything. So I think we're off on the right track. I mean, we discussed some potential ideas that we're going to be bringing to, in the near future. But, good collaboration and good feedback from all members have been discussed. We already scheduled our next meeting, I think, next month. So, we want to be ready for when the time comes. Also, just I think the event, I want to thank everyone that was involved in planning for the when the mayor from Puerto Peñasco came. I think it was well organized. The food was great. I think everybody seemed happy. So great job. And I'll see everyone next week in the League of Cities. That's all I have, Mayor.
Councilwoman Delgadillo,
I don't have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Galindo.
I just have one favor to ask Councilmember Villalpando if he can attend the YMPO next Thursday at 3:30. I won't be here, so Councilmember Villalpando.
I might be out of town as well,
Okay.
but I'll check and see if it's gonna be available in Zoom. I could probably do Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
And I want to echo what Councilman Castillo said about the event for Puerto Peñasco. Everybody was happy and there was a good conversation, and looking forward to continue working with the government of Puerto Peñasco. Also, tomorrow I'm gonna have a meeting with the area mayors. We used to have it every month. We stopped for a year, so we're gonna try to reconnect again. So that's tomorrow. And we have one item in executive session is discussion and consultation for legal services and to consider position regarding a contract all related to development agreement to the funding, development, and construction of public improvements in approximately 9.78 acres located north Cesar Chavez Avenue and West Main Street. Is there a motion to adjourn to executive session?
Second.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Delgadillo, second by Councilman Castillo. In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're gonna take a 10-minute break, and you wanna say happy birthday to Councilman Castillo, you're welcome to his birthday today.
We have cake.
Everybody sing.
I think there's cake.